USMNT wins the hard way.
Oh,
Let me tell you, for 2 decades, American soccer fans have begged for this beautiful modern possession soccer. And yesterday, they secured their biggest World Cup knockout win in 20 years by completely abandoning that dream.
yeah, they threw it right out the window.
Exactly. You are locked into a very special deep dive right here on HAUP Sports. We've got a massive agenda today. We are unpacking this huge stack of sources from, tactical Reddit debates, skeptical analytical deep dives, all the way to the raw FIFA match reports.
We have to look at all of it.
Right, we have to dissect this historic, gritty, honestly just ugly 2-0 win over Bosnia and Herzegovina.
It really is the defining moment of the tournament for this squad. And I mean, it is entirely polarizing right now. Just to set the stakes for you, this is the USMNT's first World Cup knockout stage win since 2002.
24 years.
Exactly. It's a monumental hurdle cleared. But
Yeah.
the reality of how they cleared it has just fractured the fan base. It wasn't the expansive, free-flowing football that this quote-unquote golden generation was supposed to deliver.
Not even close.
Right. It was a 10-man survival test. And it forces us to question what this team's true identity actually is when the lights are brightest.
The identity crisis is so real, and I mean, these debates are tearing up every forum and comment section right now. But before we get into the philosophy of how they play, we have to look at the mechanics of what actually happened on that pitch in San Francisco.
Let's break it down.
Because you had a script that flipped completely upside down in real time. Fuller and Balogun puts the U.S. up 1-0 right before the half with just a brilliant clinical finish. The stadium is rocking. You're thinking, okay, they're in the driver's seat.
Right. They have all the momentum.
Exactly. Then the 64th minute hits. Owen gets tangled up. We get a really lengthy VAR review, and he is shown a highly controversial straight red card.
Which changes everything.
Everything. Suddenly, the U.S. is down a man in a single elimination World Cup match with over 25 minutes left on the clock.
And look, that 25-minute stretch, that is the ultimate litmus test for tournament maturity. When a team loses a man in a knockout game, the psychological momentum instantly swings. The opponent smells blood.
Oh, Bosnia definitely smelled blood.
They immediately turned up the physical intensity. I mean, they were throwing bodies forward, looking to completely overwhelm the U.S. penalty area. The tactical discipline required to withstand that kind of siege without completely shattering, it's immense.
It really is.
And it requires a very specific structural response, which we saw them execute.
Right, and watching them absorb that pressure, it completely shifted away from the proactive soccer we were always used to hearing about. They essentially clamped down and said, we dare you to break us.
They parked it.
In American sports terms, it looked exactly like a bend but don't break NFL defense, or like a basketball defense deciding to just pack the paint. You concede the outside, you let the opponent pass around the perimeter all they want, but you absolutely deny any high percentage shots at the rim.
That's a perfect analogy.
Okay, so let's unpack this. How does a team that has spent years preaching about controlling the ball suddenly shift gears and survive 25 minutes of a defensive siege without buckling?
Well, the answer lies in Mauricio Pochettino's supreme trust in the specific defensive shape they dropped into. He didn't make a panic move, which is so rare.
Usually, managers freak out.
Right. The conventional wisdom when that red card comes out is to immediately hit the panic button on the sideline. You pull an attacking player, you throw on a third center back, and you just bunker down into a flat back five.
That he didn't do that.
Pochettino refused to do that. He actually didn't make a single substitution until the 87th minute when he brought on Sebastian Berhalter and Ricardo Pepi.
Wait, so he just trusted the guys already on the pitch to figure out the geometry?
Exactly. He trusted his back line. I mean, Tim Ream, Chris Richards, and Alex Freeman, he trusted them to manually tighten their defensive spacing.
Just with the guys out there.
Yeah, they compressed the central channels so effectively that they forced Bosnia to funnel the ball out wide. And by willingly conceding the touchlines, they forced Bosnia into taking low-probability, desperate crosses from just awful angles.
Which makes the goalkeeper's job way easier.
Right. Because Ream and Richards held their ground so well centrally, keeper Matt Freese was perfectly shielded. He wasn't forced into making a single high-danger acrobatic save during that entire 25-minute stretch.
That is wild. They just neutralized the threat through pure positioning. And then, against all odds, Malik Tillman steps up in the 82nd minute and buries a sensational Beckham-esque free kick to make it 2-0 and completely ice the game.
Which is the ultimate reward for that defensive resilience. If you look at the quotes coming out of the locker room, you see a total shift in mentality from these guys.
What were they saying?
Christian Pulisic said, quote, "We had to dig deep. It didn't go according to plan, but it shows what a good team we are." And Anton Robinson echoed that, pointing out the pure grit of playing a man down and everyone pulling in the exact same direction.
That is what tournament maturity looks like right there.
It really is. It's the stark realization that style points do not advance you to the round of 16. Execution does.
But that execution under pressure, I mean, it exposes a much deeper systemic flaw that was obvious even before the red card. Because when it was 11 on 11, the offense still looked incredibly stagnant.
It was rough to watch.
It was. And that brings us to the tactical debate that is absolutely raging across the analytical sources we pulled for this deep dive. Are the U.S. pretending to be a possession-based team when their actual DNA is just blue-collar transition?
This is the big question.
Right, because the analysts keep pointing to this concept of U-shaped possession. Let's break down exactly what that means, because if you've been frustrated watching this team try to score, this explains why.
Yeah, the U-shaped possession problem, it's basically the Achilles heel of the current U.S. tactical setup. When the U.S. faces an opponent operating in a low block,
Which means they just pack the box, right?
right, meaning the opponent drops all their midfielders and defenders deep to clog up their own penalty area. When that happens, the U.S. completely loses the ability to penetrate the center of the pitch.
They just pass it around the edges.
Exactly. Instead of threading passes forward, the ball just cycles in a giant horseshoe shape. It goes from the left winger back to a left back, across the center backs, over to the right back, and up to the right winger, and then it just reverses.
So it's just sterile horizontal passing. I mean, they are holding the ball, they are dominating the possession statistics, sure, but they aren't actually asking any dangerous questions of the defense.
Precisely. And the tactical breakdown shows why this happens. To break down an elite, compact defense, you need players who can operate effectively in the half spaces.
Those little pockets on the field.
Yeah, those are the claustrophobic, highly contested pockets of grass between the opponent's midfield and defensive lines. You need tactical architects.
Guys who can pick a pass.
Players who can receive the ball on the half turn with a defender on their back, read the geometry of the defense in a split second, and thread a needle.
And our roster just isn't built like that. I mean, we have incredible athletes. We have these dynamic box-to-box engines who can just run all day.
Incredible physical tools, absolutely.
But an engine is only useful when there is open road. When the game is chaotic and the field is stretched, the U.S. can transition and run an opponent off the pitch.
100%.
But when they're forced to slow down, hold the ball, and pick a lock, the engine stalls out because we just don't have the locksmith.
That is the perfect way to look at it. The U.S. lacks the innate spatial playmakers required to make a position-based system actually lethal.
Okay, but I have to challenge that premise, though. Because if you look at the crests on these jerseys, we are constantly told this is the golden generation.
The pedigree's there.
Right. We are fielding players who feature for Juventus, AC Milan, Monaco, PSV Eindhoven. I mean, these guys are playing premium Champions League football against the best tactical minds in the world.
They are.
Modern soccer at that level demands a proactive, possession-based style. If you are a starter in Serie A, you absolutely should possess the technical ability to figure out how to pass through a low block. So why can't they replicate that for the national team?
You are touching on exactly what the analytical sources refer to as the premium academy fallacy.
The premium academy fallacy. Okay, walk me through that.
It is this dangerous assumption that just because a player successfully executes a highly specific, heavily drilled role for an elite European club, that they can organically solve complex tactical puzzles in the chaotic environment of international soccer.
So just because you are a flawless cog in a machine over in Italy, it doesn't mean you can build the machine yourself when you put on the USA jersey.
Exactly. You have to consider the time constraint here. Club managers have 10 months a year, day in and day out, to drill a tactical system into their players' muscle memory.
They practice it every single day.
Right. They program automated movements so the players don't even have to think, they just react. National team managers like Pochettino get these guys for, 3 weeks at a time?
Barely any time to gel.
Exactly. The World Cup is won on deep, instinctual chemistry. The U.S. development system is still a fragmented patchwork of MLS academies, pay-to-play programs, and dual nationals coming from totally different tactical schools.
Right, they aren't all raised in the same system.
No, they've collected incredibly talented individual assets, but they haven't built a cohesive, organic footballing identity from the ground up the way a nation like Spain or France has.
So you can't just slap a tiki-taka tactical manual on a group of guys who've only practiced together for 3 weeks and expect them to suddenly slice through international defenses.
You can't.
Yeah.
And trying to force these players to play a highly complex, possession-heavy style without that ingrained, decades-long chemistry is just a recipe for turning the ball over and getting killed on the counterattack.
Okay, so if playing beautiful, expansive soccer is just stalling out our offense and leaving our back line exposed, what is the actual blueprint for the rest of this tournament? Because the expectations are astronomical right now.
They really are.
They're playing on home soil. You have 80,000 fans showing up to these stadiums expecting to see the U.S. dictate the game.
Well, the blueprint for survival, according to the tactical deep dives we are looking at, is highly controversial, but it might honestly be their only path forward. The sources suggest the U.S. must fully embrace the villain role.
The villain role. I like the sound of that. Stop trying to be the protagonist who plays the game the quote-unquote right way.
Exactly. It means accepting that they're going to play ugly soccer. They need to stop trying to win the hearts of the casual fans with expansive passing sequences that go nowhere.
Just kill the U-shape.
Yes, tactically, playing the villain means sitting deep in a compact mid-block, choking the space in the center of the pitch, and turning the game into a physical, grueling war of attrition.
Just making it miserable for the other team.
Exactly. You frustrate the opponent, you drive fouls, and you optimize heavily for set pieces. I mean, look at the way they sealed this win against Bosnia.
Tillman's free kick.
Right, Tillman's free kick, that is the exact currency the villain role deals in.
But wait, doesn't the home crowd factor into this? I mean, you're playing in the United States, fueled by massive national belief. There's this idea of the home turf miracle, that the energy of the crowd gives you an extra gear to press higher and play more aggressively. You don't want to park the bus in front of your own fans.
I know, but the home turf miracle is often a trap, especially for a developing football nation carrying this much domestic expectation.
A trap? How so?
The sources draw a direct line to Brazil in 2014. If you want to talk about home field pressure, look at that Brazilian squad. They were playing on home soil, fueled by absolute national fanaticism.
Oh, man, I remember that.
But the suffocating weight of that expectation actually paralyzed them. They felt obligated to play open, aggressive, beautiful Brazilian football to please the crowd.
And we all know how that ended.
Right. It led directly to their historic 7-1 collapse against a cold, calculating German machine.
They played into the emotion of the stadium instead of the tactical reality of the match. That is a brutal lesson.
Exactly. Belief and crowd noise do not save you against elite tactical execution. If the U.S. plays open, expansive football just to please 80,000 screaming fans in San Francisco or Seattle, they are going to get picked apart by teams that know exactly how to exploit that space.
Okay, that pragmatic approach perfectly aligns with a source we pulled from the archives for this deep dive. We found a 2021 piece interviewing veteran midfielder Kellen Acosta.
Yeah, that's a great pull.
Yeah, he was talking about the absolute grind of CONCACAF qualifiers, playing down in Central America in these hostile environments where beautiful football is physically impossible.
Yeah.
He explicitly said, sometimes you can't play beautiful football. You just have to let the grind and be gritty, roll up your sleeves, and grind out a result.
And that is the exact mentality they need to adopt right now on the world stage. It's not about parking the bus in a cowardly way.
Right, it's strategic.
It's about severe, calculated pragmatism. It's about looking at that sterile U-shaped possession and actively killing it. If a passing sequence doesn't penetrate the defense within 3 or 4 passes, the directive should be to force a reset.
Just boot it.
Basically, yeah. Send it long, fight for the second ball, disrupt the opponent's shape.
Don't just stand around your own half playing keep away to boost your possession stats because you are just begging an elite European team to press you into a massive mistake.
Exactly. What's fascinating about this shift in perspective is the realization that hope, belief, and the hype surrounding the golden generation, those are marketing tools for the broadcasts and the sponsors.
Right, that's just to sell jerseys.
Yep. Once the whistle blows, execution and grit are the only currencies that actually keep you in the tournament.
Wow. But listen, that gritty execution is about to face the ultimate stress test. Because if we look at the gauntlet standing between the USMNT and the trophy, the degree of difficulty just skyrocketed.
It really did.
We are heading up to Seattle for the round of 16, And waiting for us is a terrifying Belgium side. And Belgium is coming in hot. They just survived an absolute thriller of a match, mounting a 3-2 comeback against Senegal that took 120 minutes of grueling extra-time soccer to finish.
And Belgium is just the first hurdle in a brutal projected bracket. I mean, Belgium is currently ranked 10th in the world.
Which is tough enough.
Right. But if the U.S., who are still fighting to prove they belong in that elite top tier, if they manage to get past them, the road only gets steeper. The current bracket projection has them staring down number 3 Spain in the quarterfinals, number 1 France in the semifinals, and potentially number 2 Argentina in the final.
That is a murderer's row of international heavyweights. Are you kidding me?
It's insane. The odds makers know this, which is why the USMNT are massive underdogs right now, holding only the 9th best odds at plus 3,500 to win the tournament.
Plus 3,500. It's a mountain to climb. But strictly looking at this matchup against Belgium and Seattle, I have to point out a massive, massive personnel issue that directly impacts this villain role strategy we just laid out.
The red card.
Yes, Folarin Balogue is suspended for the round of 16 because of that straight red card against Bosnia. If your entire tactical game plan relies on sitting deep, absorbing pressure, and then transitioning quickly, you need a target man.
You have to have an outlet.
Right. You need someone who can catch a long clearance, hold the ball up with his back to goal, and allow the midfield to relieve the pressure. How on earth does Pochettino replace his primary target man against a physical European giant like Belgium?
That absence, it completely changes the tactical calculus for the round of 16. Without Balogun to act as that physical outlet, the U.S. cannot reliably play long balls into the center of the pitch and expect them to stick.
They'll just get swallowed up by the Belgian center back.
Exactly. It forces Pochettino into the ultimate test of his adaptability. Belgium is going to control the tempo, and they're going to force the U.S. to be defensively flawless.
No mistakes allowed.
None. To survive without a true target man, the U.S. will have to rely almost exclusively on their transition speed on the wings.
So they have to turn the game into a track meet on the counter.
Exactly. They have to utilize the raw pace of players like Christian Pulisic and Tim Weah. When Belgium pushes their fullbacks high up the pitch to join the attack, they're going to leave massive pockets of space behind them.
Wide open spaces.
Right. The U.S. has to absorb the pressure, win the ball deep, and immediately trigger vertical sprints into those wide channels. It essentially forces the U.S. even deeper into that villain role.
Because they literally don't have another option.
Yeah, they don't have the personnel to hold the ball up and dictate play, so they have no choice but to act like a counterpuncher in a boxing match. Protect the chin, wait for Belgium to overextend, and throw a haymaker into the open space.
It is going to be absolute tactical trench warfare in Seattle. I mean, every single pass, every defensive shift is going to carry the weight of the entire tournament.
It is, and it leaves us with a fascinating final thought to mull over before kickoff. Let's say the USMNT actually executes this blueprint. Let's say they fully embrace this villain role.
Okay.
They completely abandon the dream of playing the beautiful game. They park themselves in a gritty low block, and they manage to win ugly, grinding their way through the bracket on their own soil. If they do that, will the American public embrace them as gritty, blue-collar heroes who did whatever it took to win? Or will the crushing weight of domestic expectations cause the fan base to reject a team that wins simply because they didn't look dominant and pretty doing it?
Wow. That is the million-dollar question for American soccer right now. Are we finally ready to love a winner, even if their style of play is completely ugly? Listen, we want to know exactly where you stand on this. Drop a comment down below. Should the U.S. stick to their guns and try to play proactive possession soccer, or should they go full counterattack villain mode against Belgium to keep the run alive? Make sure you smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on those notifications for HAUP Sports so you never miss our daily premium U.S. sports updates. We are going to be breaking down every single angle of this World Cup run, the debate and the tactics as it happens. Until next time, stay loud, stay hyped, and keep surviving.